asking questions? Or
I will be asking questions.
Okay.
All right, so again, it's going to be real quick, guys.
My name is Bruce Edelman, and I am an alcoholic.
Yeah. No. All right, so describe your experience in the military. Quick, brief one.
Okay, very briefly, I had went to 2-year college, lost my deferment, was going to be drafted, went into the Navy with a chip on my shoulder because I couldn't go on to college. I came out, I got separated, went to an engineering school. Very quickly, I did not tell anyone I was in the service. It was a time when I felt it wasn't a positive experience once I got out because of some of the names, the anti-military feeling, both with the war and with the active war veterans. So that was my...
Bruce?
I didn't want to go in.
You didn't want to go in?
No.
Okay.
This is the draft era.
Yeah.
I'm college. I went to college first. I went to college, class of '66. Went to grad school '67. So, but I still was healthy. I could have gotten out of it for $500. There was a psychiatrist in New York that fraternity brothers got out of it, but I couldn't do that. I don't want to say patriotic, but I didn't want to go in, but I got drafted. You know the rest of the story. I went into OCS, got thrown out of OCS, and went to Vietnam, saw combat, got shot. So my career was 8 months in the field in a recon platoon, carried a machine gun most of the time. Anyhow, once I got out of the Army, which was the happiest day of my life, when I remember crying, and I got out at Fort Dix, and I live in New Jersey, so one of the greatest drunks was that day. But anyhow, as far as oppression, I also hid that I was in service until sometimes I got into arguments that you fight for your country. But I went to a couple of anti-war rallies just to, I could curse at this, get laid, because they were very liberal and they would do anything to get laid. I was single and young.
Okay.
And but then I got a little bit older. I'll say I went to work at New Jersey Bell, and then intellectually I said, if duty calls, you do it. My country, right or wrong. And I was a history major and actually wrote my master's on war as a driver in history. I'm not crying, let's go where it goes. But anyhow, that's sort of it.
All right, so as a veteran, as a Vietnam veteran, do you feel that there's a misconception on Vietnam veterans, whether it's current or past?
I think, when I got out, everything was baby killers, you should have had the strength not to go. I mean, you're asking to commit a crime, right? You'd be a draft dodger, quote unquote, go to Canada, or break your own foot or something. I mean, that's... some of it's illegal. I'm not going to jail to avoid the crime. I'm not moving to Canada. So that's my...
I think that I've had quite a bit of friends. First of all, I stayed in the reserves while I was going to college for the extra income. I was telling people earlier today, at the reserve meetings, I wore a short hair wig. I put my hair long as soon as I could, so I wouldn't be recognized as a veteran or in the service. I think that many of my friends, up until the 1990s, we never talked about any experiences in the service. We never talked about. I didn't know that some of my good friends were even in the military up until many years later. And the first time that I was recognized as a veteran was in early 1990s at SeaWorld, where they asked for us to active duty stand up and veterans to stand up. So from 1972 until 1992, I was never personally recognized as being a veteran, nor did I want to be. I just felt there was a negative stigma about us, and it could have passed, but from the late 1960s up until that point, we were pariahs in mainstream.
All right, so based on the services available at the VA Medical Center and other entities, how was that compared to the services and support that you had during the Vietnam War? Do you think it was more supportive now than it was back then when it comes to the VA medical or anything that helps?
I can only speak secondhand.
Yeah.
I think that there was very little physical medical support. If you were wounded, if you had a disability physically, I don't really know of anybody that I talked to that had any type of PTSD counseling support as there is today.
For me,
You would know better.
like an idiot, when I worked for New Jersey Bell and then IBM, so I had great medical, and I don't think I had any issues. So I didn't even know I could get, and I'm 60% disabled. I didn't even know I could get any benefits. So I didn't start using the VA until I was 60.
Wow.
Actually, I was retired, make it more like 65. I've been using the VA for the last 10 years, and I still have private insurance. So I have no comparison. Young, I'm starting. Is that 45 years ago, 50 years ago? So I use it now. I've had 5 operations of some kind at the VA, and I have no. It's good, medical, nothing mental yet.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I'm going to define oppression. So oppression is really prolonged cruelty, or unjust treatment or control. Now that I described the definition of oppression, what was your experience of oppression coming back from Vietnam?
me, 0. I didn't have any. Never got spit on. No one ever really yelled at nothing. I wasn't oppressed by that definition.
Okay.
And not being a Vietnam War vet, I didn't personally have any of that experience, other than some name calling or some names in a bar, but nothing I would consider oppression by the definition. However, in our position as volunteers here, we've heard numerous stories about situations that happened to Vietnam vets coming home that lay dormant for years, and then by some trigger, 40 years later, they snapped and they referred back to that period with anger and hostility. We had a great conversation with somebody who was spit on, and that spit on again recently. And we fortunately could talk him. We actually helped him calm down one day. So I don't know of anybody personally that has been oppressed.
Okay. And the final question I'm going to ask you guys is, based on everything we spoke about, do you think there's anything future social workers need to know if social workers are going to be working with Vietnam veterans?
I think there's still a number of veterans that will not discuss their experiences. I think they still live with it today. And if they could receive some type of outreach and be able to discuss some of their issues that they've been living with for 40-some years, that would be beneficial. I don't think the majority of veterans still share it. I think the minority may share it.
I think that we're all affected, and this all is all of us who have seen combat. That's not normal. The normal life, you're not getting shot at, and whatever. Where you could die and see horrible things. See things you never want to see. So we're all affected. It's just that some people, and maybe I'm wrong. I was old early. I was 24, and had, I think, a normal upbringing. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think it just didn't affect me. I just went on with my life. It was horrible, but.
Okay.
And I think lastly,
Go ahead.
I think lastly too, just a final thought. The social workers today are used to dealing with this generation of combat veteran that has the support of our country, basically, as individuals and war fighters. They may be opposed to the war, but if the social worker could think of these same people they deal with today, when our country was opposed and hated the Vietnam veterans, compounding the experiences that they have in combat, I think they should look at that and see how they can reach out and perhaps add some additional support.
I mean, I just thinking, well, you're too young. There was a difference with the Vietnam returnees like myself. The college-educated professional people were anti-Vietnam, going to war and all that, while the, I'll call it blue-collar, middle America supported the military. So it was what circle you ran in to find criticism, oppression. I ran in the professional group, I guess I'll call it.
Yeah.
So it was intellectually, it was all anti-stuff, verbally, but nothing cruel. I can't say it was cruel. It was more argument. Two sides of the coin.
And until recently, I never wore any type of military hat, T-shirt, shirt up until I started volunteering here.
Because of the fear of somebody saying something not
Because of
appropriate.
the ingrained fear of being, chastised. I guess it's it wouldn't happen, but it's ingrained from when you're in your early 20s to now. So it's helped me. It's helped me a lot being here.
Yeah.
I think you get nothing. I do wear this hat, and I
Yeah.
get nothing but praise today.
Yeah.
Other than I had one incident with somebody said to her, this going back 50 years, how could anybody serve, the bad war? And I just told her, you do what you had to do. But this generation, I don't know. I had kids this big come up to me and say thank you for your service, and then older people who might have even lived through Vietnam, and even just guys who in no way were old enough to remember Vietnam, say thank you for your service. It's a different generation,
Yeah.
and culturally, I think it's a cultural change.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cultural change.
Over the last I don't know, whatever it is, 15 years. Thank you for this idea of thank you for your service. It is.
Yep. And whenever I see people your age in the restaurant wearing a hat, I always say thanks for your service.
Do you really?
Yep.
A plus and balls.
No, I'm serious. I'm
Very
serious.
good. Thank you.